She was born on February 29, 1956, in Rochester, Michigan. Her father was convicted of child molestation and attempted murder, and just a few years later hung himself in prison. Her mother abandoned Aileen and her brother at a very young age. The children were raised by their grandma and grandpa. Aileen was repeatedly beat and raped by her grandpa, and her grandma was an alcoholic. Once, she brought home a kitten, and her grandpa made her watch him drown it. At age 11, she began having sex with her brother and neighbors in exchange for money, beer, and cigarettes. By age 14, Aileen became pregnant. She claimed her brother as the father, but others said that it was a friend of her grandpa's. She was sent to a home for unwed mothers, and the baby was given up for adoption. Shortly after she arrived back home, she was kicked out. She began to wander around and slept wherever she could. Her grandma died soon after of liver failure. She was last seen by any family at her funeral. Aileen began prostituting. Not long after, she got married to a rich 69-year-old man named Louis Fell. She began to drink, and he claimed she beat him. They were only married for 1 month. At age 30, she fell in love with a young waitress named Tyree Moore. They were together for 4 years. By 1990, Tyree became very suspicious of Aileen's activities, and she moved back in with her family. By age 34, her record included arrests for illegal possession of a firearm, forgery, assault, and robbery.
Okay, I cannot go in the execution chamber and die in the execution chamber as a liar. And I cannot go in the execution chamber and be executed under the devil. I have to come clean and cleanse my spirit in the name of Jesus Christ. So I have to come clean and tell the world the lies that went on through my mouth. I mean, now prosecutors and cops.
And that you killed the 7 men.
Huh?
That you killed those men in cold blood.
Yeah, and I got to come clean that I killed those 7 men in first-degree murder and robbery. As they said, they had it right. A serial killer. Not so much like thrill kill. I was into the robbing biz. I mean, you know, serial killers are in this thrill killing jazz. I was into the robbing, just and eliminate a witness. But still, then again, I got a number, so it's serial killer. But I'm coming clean before I go in that execution chamber and be executed. That I killed him.
Richard Mallory's body was found December 13th, 1989. 6 months later, another man was found. 5 other men were found after that. Aileen was arrested in January 1991. She confessed to only 6 of the kills, claiming it was self-defense. District Attorney was John Tanner. The private attorney was Stephen Glazer. And Judge Uriel Blount came out of retirement specifically to try this case. Aileen Wournos was charged with first-degree murder and received a total of 6 death sentences.
wondering how you're going to be, at 9:30 tomorrow morning. Are you prepared?
I'm prepared. I'm all right. I'm all right with it. I'm all right with it, but like I said, remember, let them know that I know that the cops knew who I was. After Richard Mallory died, I left prints everywhere, and they covered it up and let me kill the rest of those guys to turn me into a serial killer. I know they did, because I was no professional serial killer or anything. I'm a murderer or whatever you want to call it, I wasn't professional at what I was doing.
Aileen,
I did some sloppy work.
While on death row, she consistently read the Bible. On October 9th, 2002, her life was ended by lethal injection. She refused a last meal and instead asked for a single cup of coffee. Her last words were, "I'm sailing like a rock, and I'll be back like Independence Day. With Jesus, June 6th, like the movie, big mothership and all. I'll be back."
How have you prepared yourself for tomorrow morning?
I'm all right with it. Hey, I'm ready to go. Hey, I was tortured at BCI. They had the intercom on in the room, and they kept lying that it wasn't on, and they were using sonic pressure on my head since 1997.
Sonic pressure.
And every time I was trying to write something, I think they had some kind of eye in the cell, I'm not sure, but every time I started writing something, it went up higher. So I'm thinking that probably had the TV rigged. The TV or the mirror, something was rigged. They got a huge satellite on the compound. After they put the huge satellite on the compound, it could have been either rigged to the TV set or the mirror or something, because the electrician, when he put the mirror on the wall, he said, "Doesn't that look like a computer?" The back of it, and he stuck it to the wall.
And do you think, did that affect your mind, do you think?
Huh?
Did that affect your mind in some way, the sonic?
It was crushing my head, and they were using sonic pressure continually. Then when I had 3 meetings with Miss Villacorta on it, every meeting I had, she increased the pressure of the volume of the comm, increased the harassment on the floor, increased the trays being inedible, just increased every bit of my complaints and trashed all grievances. They're trying to make it look like I was crazy at all times, rig up the room with torture. If I said anything about I think their whole plan was to try to make it look like I was totally crazy, and so nobody would believe anything I had to say about anything, and then drive me there if they could. I suffered so bad. I was really struggling to survive. Had a lot of trays that were attempted murder and everything. I had to wash all my food off. And then one day I didn't wash my food off, and I was sick for 3 weeks, almost died.
But you're okay now.
I'm okay. I'm okay. God is going to be there. Jesus Christ is going to be there. All the angels and everything. And, whatever's on the beyond, I think it's going to be more like Star Trek beaming me.
My profile. I profiled Aileen wournos as having disorganized schizophrenia. Why? A lot of the symptoms include active but in an aimless way, silly behavior, inappropriate emotional responses, inability to feel pleasure, delusions, and inappropriate grinning, all of which I saw in her interviews.